So this is my privilege of presenting you Bing. I think probably most of you have already used Bing. I don't know, just a quick survey. Who has never used Bing, maybe to start with? Okay, a few hands, so that will definitely be a discovery. I think that even for those who have already used Bing, I hope that you will discover a number of things because my purpose is really to show you the sort of Bing full experience, i.e. the US experience. I know it can be frustrating at times because there are some very exciting things that we can't really use in the Belgium optimized version at this stage, where we are still in beta. But I think really what I want to share with you is directionally where we go for Belgium and where we are already in the US with this product. So, I suppose probably the very first question is, where are we? What are our intentions? Why are we investing in search? So, first of all, I don't know, maybe not for the Google people in the room, but for the others, any guess on what is the Bing market share in Belgium today? Somebody else, maybe. Yeah? 3%. 3%. Excellent. So, if you can help make a bit more promotion to. Yes. So, it's true that we are really coming from a challenger position. At that stage, I think that's fair to say. But we have a very strong network, among our properties. You have the MSN portal, you have Messenger, you have Hotmail, you have all those products and Internet Explorer as well. Today, actually, the reality is that when we talk about search, these sort of 3% market share are mostly reached through MSN and Internet Explorer as entry point for search. So really, search as a destination for people using Microsoft is pretty much in existence. But we think that, of course, we can sort of at least demonstrate the product from these existing properties and that the reach that we have with those other properties, I mean, the Microsoft network across all these properties is in the latest Comscore figures around 85% reach. Only sort of Google is above that. So I think that, it's a sort of a strong number two. But of course, if we want to be in search, it's because it's a very important online ecosystem. I don't need to convince you, otherwise you wouldn't be in the room if you were not convinced on that. But also, I mean, just matter-of-factly, the online advertising investment is bigger in search advertising today than it is in sort of classical display advertising. And of course, we want to be part of that growth. I think that's quite logical. The last point, and that's more the sort of right part of this chart, is, well, we believe at Microsoft that this is typically a challenge for us because this is really about a software problem. That needs a huge scale in operations. I mean, the amount of servers you need to have, etc., to be able to serve that correctly is quite staggering. It is a long-term investment. Everybody knows that we are losing money with search at the moment, and that's just a proof of our commitment to get to a decent product and, of course, a profitable product in due time. But at this stage, we are still very much in the investment phase, and the whole idea is, with a good product, to be able to serve an existing online community. The second thing is, some people have asked, why a new brand, why that brand, etc. So we think that's important because, of course, we can serve search through the existing properties, as I mentioned, but the way people access the internet today is also really so much geared from a search engine point of view as an entry point that we wanted to be able to stand on our own as a sort of destination search engine. And, to that effect, really needed to have the support of a new brand. And also because, we wanted really to show a fresh start about our approach around search engine. But we have a big challenge in front of us because, nobody's really waiting for a new search engine. And, Google has done a wonderful job in serving the search, and they are sort of improving their products all the time. And so now, when you look at the figures, when you ask people about their search habits, etc., that's the sort of thing to which they are not really giving any second thought. I mean, this is so ingrained. People use it all the time. It has become a verb, to Google it. It's really sort of, from research, we had some verbatim where people were saying, it's between, shall I brush my teeth, before or after breakfast, or, do I cross my legs links or right, or, this is things you don't really think about it, and you don't make a sort of conscious choice anymore. So that's pretty much the challenge in front of us. And we think that there is still an opportunity. And the reason why we see an opportunity is really because of the consumer research and the data analysis that we've done over the last 2 years. And what appears from this research, well, first of all, is that the whole internet has complexified enormously over the last 10 years. So if you look at the number of sites, the number of sites have grown 2,000 times in the last 10 years. The number of links, it's 40,000 times, and the content has just exploded with rich content, video, images, social network posts, all that sort of thing. So it's really absolutely massive, and in that mass of information, of course, it becomes more and more a challenging task to bring back the relevant results depending on the user query intent. And so that's really one of the big challenges. So to a certain extent, what we can say is that search hasn't changed that much. Of course, we know that in background, huge improvements have been made. But if you look at the sort of user experience, it's pretty much still a sort of very clean, white pages with 10 blue links. But at the same time, what's happening on the internet has changed enormously, and the amount of data there has enriched so much. So that's the first sort of thing we can observe. The second thing is that, well, first of all, of course, people are relying more and more on search. As a sort of really daily activity that systematically people do, there is only email, which might be a sort of slightly more frequent, sort of really a reflex. If I'm opening my PC for 5 minutes in a day, that will be sort of email, but just after that is search. So this is really the sort of gateway to the internet. The number of users is growing, and I'm still sort of really surprised actually to see that we haven't reached 100% reach, because, well, I really have the impression that everybody is searching, but that's pretty much the highest reach in terms of activity. They are using it more frequently, but when we ask about satisfaction in the search results, that's the only sort of data point where there is a slight decrease in terms of user satisfaction about their search experience as such. And what is it all about? Actually, when we've analyzed really sort of thousands of data points, not only on our search engine, but on across various search engine, etc. And the first thing is, actually there are still a number of search queries that do not bring you to where you want to be in one click. Of course, the usual sort of navigational query, if you want to go to the British Airways website, you are not sure if it's BA, B-A, or British Airways, or whatever, it BA, one click, that's a pretty obvious one. But as soon as it is slightly more complex than that, then very often people will actually need more than one click to get where they want to be. So that might be sort of just that they open a site that's not exactly the official site, it was a little bit of a lookalike, or they can't find immediately the information they were looking for, they get back, or they refine the query, or they go to another page, etc. But so really the straightforward experience isn't there systematically. 42% of sessions require refinement. And the last point is quite interesting as well, is that, of course, you have all those sort of rather simple queries, but you have also a lot of queries that are on specific decision support type of decisions. So to try to arrange a city trip somewhere, or to find information about holidays or shopping for a new camera, that sort of thing. And these are sessions that are really very, very lengthy with repeat queries, people come back, etc. And that can really take a lot of time. And actually, in this measure, we see that 5% of the session represent 50% of the total time spent on search engine for that sort of very long decision. So when we ask the people, in the past 6 months, have you used search engine to help inform your decision for the following tasks, like product purchase, local activity, flight, hotel, healthcare research? These are the sort of most popular type of decision-making search queries. And so these are actually the sort of 4 big categories in which we will focus most of the efforts in terms of how Bing can bring a differentiating experience. And as I mentioned, the reason for that is that we see that really these are typically for transactional queries or informational queries, that the length of this session are still quite lengthy, and so that there is definitely improvement to be made to improve user satisfaction. So really the focus based on that research and sort of quantitative, qualitative, etc., we set ourselves sort of really 3 key goals for the Bing experience. Is really as a sort of mantra to really help in the decision making. And I will now sort of go into a demo just to try to illustrate what we mean by really helping in the decision making and what we want to change in that experience. But because there are a lot of different queries, there are really 3 pillars we want to improve. It's first the quality of results, deliver great results first time, first click. And then a richer, more organized experience of presenting the results because of this huge amount of information. How can we change a little bit the user experience there to make it more organized? And then finally, help accomplish the key task. So I will now go into demo mode. So this is the welcome page of Bing. Actually, if you type bing.com or bing.be, that's what you get. So per default, based on the IP address, you will default on the bing.be webpage. You see that it's sort of a little bit different. First of all, just because there is this picture. Actually, I don't really like today's picture, so you can also change. Every day there is a new picture, and that's just sort of delighting the user, surprising the user. One can call it a marketing gimmick, but actually people like it, and they like to discover a new picture every day. Just for curiosity, if you hover on the copyright trademark there, you always see what exactly is the picture, where it comes from, etc. So you can learn a thing. But actually, for the sake of this demonstration, and simply, I mean, for you, if you want to use some of the advanced functionality, you see this is really the beta version, pretty sort of slim at this stage for Belgium, where you have only sort of 2 verticals with image and news. You won't get much of really these enhanced features, which are key to our positioning. So, I sort of have to apologize a little bit because it's like sort of showing you a trailer for a movie that will not show in a theater near you, but not this week, but really that's where we're aiming at. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to change the settings to put myself in the US version. So you see that's pretty much the same image. I can also go backwards in time here. One of the difference that you have, and I'm sorry because with the display mode, it's slightly different. One of the difference that you have is that you will see that you have a hotspot on the image. So these are sort of editorial elements that's just to sort of, again, help you discover some of the aspects of search. So, you take a trip to the beach. If I click on this, then I will have a sort of pre-populated image search on beach Sri Lanka of that part. So that's just, again, helping people to discover a new thing. You can download the Bing wallpapers, learn more, have the popular top queries of the moment, etc. So that's just for the sort of starting page, the start experience. So now getting into sort of, you see as well that compared to the Belgian version, you have much more vertical here, and we will explore those in a few moments. So as a first query, just to start trying to illustrate what we want to do when we talk about, giving best results. As I mentioned, 24% of dissatisfaction of users is because they need to sort of click back. They go to the results page and then they click on a link. It's not exactly what they were expected. They need to click back. So as a first query, I'm interested, actually, that was the Cannes Film Festival last week, and I haven't really followed that closely, so I'm interested to know what are the results, what are the final winner, and what's exactly happened. So the first thing is, of course, giving a decent auto-completion for a longer query that helps already people to immediately go to the right query without too much of an effort. So in terms of results, what I'm getting here is, first of all, what we deem as the most relevant link, which is the official website, with deep linking immediately on, of course, the most probably relevant aspects of the Cannes Film Festival about, exactly the awards, pictures, etc. You see that we have also some news given there. You have the here still the official one, the Wikipedia, etc. One of the feature quite important that we've foreseen is really to give a preview of what's the content on the page and deeper link in the page. So that allows two things. First of all, to minimize the chance that actually you click on the wrong link, so you can see immediately. But also sometimes because the information you want is sort of so basic that actually you can already get it from the result page without having to go further into the deep linking. So here, typically, you see on the official website, I can already see the Prix du Jury and the Best Actor award right in that preview. Does not need to go any further. But if you take the sort of, and then, of course, you have everything, all the result there, a reference, etc. One of the things that, one could say, okay, for Cannes, this is quite an obvious one. But if I'm taking a sort of a more generic one, like, shoes here for buying some shoes online, if you look at the same, so you will see, of course, you see here you have the sponsor side clearly delineated. But if I'm taking the same sort of preview logic here, you see that what we try to surface as much as we can as well are really sort of the most used information people want, typically phone number. So, and phone number can be really sort of hidden quite far in the site, or not always that easily available. So you can see here, I have the contact phone number on the preview. I think that here, suppose, will be the same. Here I have the address, the phone number, etc. So that's really about, common task, information that you immediately need, and things that are relevant for you.
Would this be cashback?
So I will explain that, when I'm demoing the sort of shopping, because that's the most relevant in the shopping area. But so that's a way to, for advertiser to, bring extra incentive to users, and that's really a sort of a conversion tool for advertisers.
Is there a reason why you hide the ads? I mean, you show what's on the sites on the left, but you hide all the ads. So it doesn't make sense to have advertisement.
I'm not sure I understand.
If you click on the shoes, if you show what's on the first organic search result,
Yeah.
and you do the flyout on the right. If I was having an ad, I mean, you don't even have the first position. I mean, it's gone.
I'm not sure I get it. So here, that's for the site shoes.com. So,
What's the use for me as an advertiser to have my advertisement there if it's not visible?
No. Okay, because you mean for the right advertisement. Okay. So, I mean, the point is, these advertisers, here you have, clearly delineated with a different background color, the top links, sponsor links, fairly standard practice. On the right, you have more sponsor links with sort of slightly different logic in terms of pricing, etc. And the point is, if people want to see, to look at the right, this is really just on hovering, this specific one, because I'm interested in an organic results to see if do they have sort of also women's shoes, men's shoes, etc. So I'm receiving the deep link. But, I can still click on this. It's not automatic that you get sort of an overlay over all these. This is really the sort of a preview function. You do not always have a right rail with advertising. So this is really one of the functionality that helps people go directly to the right side. And actually, in terms of usage, we see that 21% of the queries are using that functionality. Okay, so that's really a sort of navigation help to make sure that people get to the right place. And in some cases, when you have the right rail and people select to do the hover and the preview, then temporarily for the time of the preview to just look at is this site right, you will get that phenomenon. Okay.
Quick question regarding the overlayer. Is the content in the overlayer generated by Microsoft or by the website owner itself?
No, that's sort of a Microsoft selection on the most relevant part. Last query, just to show about these enhanced results is UPS or any tracking, FedEx, that sort of thing. Here again, what we will surface, UPS is a pretty obvious one, so it's not difficult to return the right results. So what we will try to do in terms of enhancing the experience, again, is surfacing the customer service number. But what we know as well is that most of the time, people visit UPS just to track a package. So if this is the most often performed action on the UPS website, it makes sense to bring it directly in the result. So you can sort of enter your pack there and directly look for it. So that's sort of just a few things about how can we address the sort of backlinking type of frustration and element. Now, often you have people sort of not being very clear in their intention, and typically, I'm preparing a trip to Chicago, just want to find general information about Chicago. So here, what we're going to do is, first of all, give this sort of broadest possible sort of overview, trying to guess more or less what could be the user intent, giving of course the official website, some practical information, what's the temperature, what are the key attraction, what can be done in there. But also we try to categorize a little bit the results. So these are sort of first in the beginning as sort of the generic one. You can go to, most related to tourism, related to weather, related to hotels, to attractions. So this is one way we can organize the results in various themes. Of course, you can sort of reach that, the band, etc. Of course, you can reach that via events as well, or via related search. So we've related search at the end of the page, and we've related search on the left rail here. And that's really about, this is algorithmically generated based on the query refinements that people do usually. So they go in Chicago and then they want to do more things, and I have a number of questions around this. Typically linked to, if I take here the events, just on events, instead of having to go deep into various websites, this is already sorted for me. Here are the various events happening in Chicago, in the coming weeks, and I can sort of decide, for the next 7 days, next 15 days, etc., looking at what's on stage and what's displaying in Chicago. So, that's just to give a little bit an idea. Now, if we do, I've taken here the google.com, if we do the same query on Google, far from me, no bashing, it's just a reference, so I need to look at this. So the approach here is as well to give a number of refinement, the maps, and then all the various links. So I think that in terms of just query refinement, when you look at this, it's just a question of trying to surface as much as possible of the query refinement that we can relate it to specific query patterns. The last point I want to show are things related to instant answers. Typical daily queries for people or to look at the traffic. So if I look at the traffic, this is not giving me anything very exciting. And the reason why is that actually you have automatic detection of where you are located. So based on the IP address, it defines where you are located. So, and I'm just a little bit surprised because normally I should have an opportunity to locate myself here, change the location. Let me check on weather. So, okay, yeah, that's just for weather. So the idea is that immediately it takes where you are based on the IP address, and it brings back, either the weather report locally or the traffic report locally, etc. So you don't have to refine your query again, and cleverly picks up what it needs to do. Another example of this could be also selecting, movies and theater. So, here you get some videos and possibilities of preview, and you will get on the video. One thing that is quite interesting is that as you hover over the video, in Silverline, it starts displaying immediately. So, not sure, yeah, you understand. But so you get a sneak preview of the video within the search result as well. So again, when you click, you are sure that's the relevant video you want to find. Looking at movies, I've seen that Robin Hood is just out with Russell Crowe. So just asking about, Russell Crowe. So, of course, this small bio images. Yeah, you can buy him. So So, just a few things. Of course, image. We provide the image as well. A few things that I find quite handy on image. The first thing is, well, you can of course choose the various sort of level of detail, size, etc. First thing I find quite handy is the fact that you have infinite scroll, so don't need to paginate, etc. Just to look at that. The second thing is that, yeah. I don't know why in this you can filter this. Oops, let me, because I have really funny things with the display mode here. So you can filter on face only, face and shoulder, size, colors, etc. And for a strange reason, I sort of can't scroll, can't get the scroll bar here. So that's one thing. Second thing is, typically on that sort of search results, we will display also news. On the sort of most relevant results, there are two things that are interesting. The possibility to directly share a relevant result on various places, as you can see from here, but also in the news part of the search queries, we bring immediately within the search results the sort of relevant tweet activity on the specific person. So you will get, the most recent tweets about Russell Crowe displaying, in running, but also more interesting, you can actually get here the sort of top shared links about Russell Crowe. So this is really based on the sort of Twitter community intelligence and activity that it surfaces the most retweeted link and articles, etc. So this is, I think, sort of pretty unique at this stage that we can really sort of bring all those elements together, both sort of going out, sharing on the results, on those networks results that you've performed, and looking back within being at, what's making the buzz at the moment there. So that's about, the first pillar in trying to deliver, best-in-class results and really more relevant results, diminishing the number of extra click. Now, another way, actually, you know how the word says that an image says more than 1,000 words, and there are a lot of people who are more visual, or simply to try to find something, they need to go through images simply because they can't sort of find the exact queries. So we are introducing a new category here, which is visual search. Which are really sort of about galleries of things. So here, you can find galleries about a number of things. If I'm taking, several possibilities. The entertainment, movies in theater, typically, that's something, I can't exactly remember what's the movie. I can't remember the title of the movie, but I know I've seen, the poster, or I've seen a trailer, and then just at looking at these images, it's going to help me, and I can filter further. Who is it starring? Oh, that's the one displaying now because that's the only one on display. So, that's one example. I think it's sort of typically fairly often used also in things like, for shopping, you have electronics. If I'm taking here a digital camera, then I'm receiving the whole gallery, more than 700 pictures here of camera. But of course, that's a little bit too much, but, I didn't know what was sort of the SLR or that sort of thing. So, just in saying, compact, prosumer, SLR, etc., maybe I'm not familiar with that wording, but, I'm just trying compact and I'm seeing, okay, this is the sort of thing I want, or no, I want the one where I can change the lenses, etc. No, this is compact, that's good. And now what I really want are the one with, does it exist in, compact camera with, a more than 10 times digital optical zoom, 10, 15, hey, I still have 41 cameras actually, available with, optical zoom. And now, everybody is talking to me about, how brilliant Canon is. And so, let me refine on the Canon. And so I can really zoom in with simply the images. You have sort of dozens of examples where people sort of can't remember the TV series they've seen, and so just asking what was the TV series showing yesterday, that sort of thing. So that's one thing where of course it's not exhaustive because you need to build the database, etc. But again, based on what we've done so far, we think that these categories are very relevant. Second thing, I talked a little bit about, event, interested to see when is the next Lady Gaga concert. Again, here, we can see, the tickets, the concert, etc. But again, with the events tab, then, I can go immediately to all the right events. So again, here you have a lot of summary on the results page itself, just showing, exactly where it's going to happen, etc. So if I click here on events, normally I should have just, sorted by the date again for the next 30 days. Where is it showing? Yeah. No dates in there, 1st of July. So that's the logic here also to help, instead of having to browse several sites, how can we sort of give a more straightforward experience. Another category that is extremely popular are videos. So that 70% of people are watching videos. Here, in the sort of generic video category, we are offering, all the various categories possible, from news, sports, TV, etc. You have even have HD video available in a sort of quite simple interface. And you see that here. The quality is really quite impressive. Again, as I mentioned, for most video results, you can have the over preview on the video results, which is again extremely useful. Maybe the last point in that sort of pillar of these sort of richer results, and always related to the query refinement category. If I'm making a sort of search on Prius, there are so many things that somebody can be interested in when searching about the Toyota Prius, certainly with the recent actuality for this brand, etc. So what we are bringing, again, always sort of different depending on the sort of algorithm, are a number of possible refinement, the Prius reviews, the Prius forum, the used car for sale, the manual, and then we have all the related search with the problems, the sort of recall transmission problem, etc. So this is really something that we can provide right from within the results page with those category and linking. I think, not sure exactly what is going to be here. Comparison. So, again, absolutely relevant results, some images, etc. But I think that in terms of just the refinement, the categories, etc., it's sort of try to illustrate, how we can be, a little bit more helpful in guiding the users into what they, may want to do with the queries. And so the approach is sort of slightly different. It's sort of based on all the data that we have, is really to give the various categories of search results that might be interesting for the user. Then the last category, as I mentioned, the thing that people spend most time on in the search session when they are doing that sort of search are the decision scenarios, with typically travel scenarios and e-commerce shopping type of scenario. So the usual stuff where we all know that internet is extremely often used, is flight. Try to find the best flight and the cheapest flight. So what we have here is a big travel channel. So various ways to reach. Between Seattle to San Francisco on the date, yeah, that's seems fine for me. Find flights. So what's going to happen now is that we are really sort of crawling all the various companies and travel agent sites, and we are giving here a sort of a price predictor. So, here the best price we've been able to find is $257. It gives you the fair history of, what is, over time, and again, sort of hundred thousands of data points about the price of flights. The tip is that you should buy now, because based on all the historical average and the data that we have, this is about $40 cheaper than the average flight. Immediately here as well, I mean, you have all the data you want to know. I mean, is it a direct flight? At what time does it leave? At what time does it arrive? What is the sort of company? Now you can say, well, actually, I'm a sort of a frequent flyer with, American and Delta, etc. So I don't want to get all the other results, and it's automatically adapting the results for that. So it's it's a very, very powerful tip, and this is really quite amazing in terms of giving the right information. You can actually, if I'm going there on the left, of course, once you've got your flight, very often you need an hotel. Then same thing in San Francisco. I want to find the right hotel. So similarly, it will give me, all the hotels they've been able to find with the rate, the fact that based on historical data, is it a deal, a good bargain, or not really? You can, again, sort of filter your results with the miles from, the star rating. I don't want a 5-star, but only in this area. And you have really all these data directly. You can get TripAdvisor review, right? Okay, it seems a little bit like, too nice a deal. What are people saying about that hotel? And you have immediately all of these ranked and at hand. So this is really to show the examples of how can we sort of bring all the richness of data within the results page. To be honest, I don't know. Actually, I would have to check with my US colleagues. So I don't know. So that's for the travel engine. It goes into deals. You can have also you know, I think it's more American than maybe what the way we live. But you know, typically in the US, they say, well, you know, I may want to have a weekend away. You know, my departure city is Boston, so you know, I'm living in Boston. What are the good deal? You know, what are the very good deal, top cheap price deals from Boston? Well, if you want to go to Vegas, you know, that's really a very good deal here, $250, you know, let's go for it. So you can find on specific deals based on really the best fare, last minute cheap flights, etc. So really quite rich in terms of possible user experience. Now you know, the other classical one is, you know, you are planning to go to San Francisco, so you want to see what are good restaurants because you need to give those. So, you know, we are going to give an, you know, here top results with a small map already in the results page. Of course, you can go into the local listing that's from different points, so you get a little bit more richness there. So here you get far more details and a lot longer type of list of you know, what's available. But you can, again, always the logic is to sort of give the tools for users to refine their queries as they are in the search results page. And so you can say, well, you know, I want to go with, you know, actually what I would like is a sort of Vietnamese cuisine. So it's going to sort really all the Vietnamese cuisine one, and you can refine on the price points, you know, on the atmosphere. You know, I would like to have a sort of outdoor dining, and you know, I can see here, you know, top one with good reviews. I can go directly to the website, have the directions on the maps, see the menu, do reservation. Immediately I have the phone number and everything I need to go further. Yes?
How is it classified? Because is it on the reviews or because the first one, the top one, well, got 3 or
Yeah.
how does it work?
So the way it works on these local results is the sort of the standard algorithm is really based on popularity, based on the filters. Now, I know that there's a sort of playing with all sorts of different models and also, of course, with the sponsored type of restaurant. Depending, you will see in shopping there, you can filter as well on, you know, here you can filter on the left, but then in terms of popularity for a certain category, then you can filter further on price, etc. So that's, at the moment, that's really... No, this is really sort of the full listing, local listing, yeah. Okay. So, you know, the last scenario in terms of decision making is, you know, the e-commerce or shopping. So, you know, coming back to my digital cameras, you know, I get here the sort of standard results, but if I'm really in a sort of shopping mode, or I could have chosen the shopping verticals in different ways. So I will get here the, you know, all the results for the digital camera. Again, I can sort of browse the category, the brand, the pricing, and that sort of thing. But still to, you know, look at what is really interesting. What, for me, you know, in terms of decision making, typically what is very important for me when choosing for that digital camera are the expert ratings. So I've clicked there at the best expert rating element there. So now I'm getting these sorted by expert rating. But actually, you know that expert rating is good, but sometimes there are 2 experts. So what you want to know as well is, okay, in terms of user review, you know, is it good, not good, etc. I sort of have rather a compact camera. So I'm going to take this one, look at the user review. Immediately, I'm still in the results page, and I can get, you know, the rating. You know, mostly are very 5 stars, so, and a couple are here on 32. But, you know, because I'm sort of fairly basic user, I want to check, in terms of ease of use, what are the reviews, so I can select here the sort of ease of use criteria, and I get all the review really based on the ease of use criteria. So again, you see, we sort of really try to refine that and give you immediately the information that is needed. So the other stuff is very often, I'm not sure exactly for that camera, it's not clear exactly what is the zoom. So here again, in the links that we provide, you have really all the most important one, the product summary, etc. Specification, if I'm clicking here, I'm getting all the specification for that camera. I don't need to go on the Lumix website. I have everything I need here within the search results page. So that's, I'm quite convinced. So where can I buy this? Here I receive, all the shops that are selling it, etc. Now coming to your point about cashback, cashback is actually a program that we are offering advertisers specifically for e-commerce, where actually this is really a cost per acquisition model. So actually what they are paying for conversion, sort of most of it is going directly to the end user in the form of a cashback. So that's really a sort of a driver for conversion rather than to say, and because we give so much information already within the search results page environment, the whole idea is to say, well, we can help you convert right in, right there, and actually you pay only if you convert, and you pay the biggest chunk to the end user as a conversion tool. So that's really the logic of cashback. As a user using Bing in the US, if you to use cashback, it suffices to give your email address and register for the program. And as soon as you've got a minimum of $5 in your cashback account, you can ask for a check and receive the money. So you can really collect the cashback on a number of purchases. So
probably a question related to the content, because I see that a lot of actions keep the visitor on Bing site. So there is a lot of content there. I doubt Microsoft is writing the full content of each product. So where does the content come from? If you stay on Bing, the content should come from other sites?
Yeah, so here that's the sort of most referential. So typically for the product specification, I suppose that's been taken from the sort of manufacturer website. If you have the sort of user review, expert review, we're crawling all the relevant sites for digital camera, looking at the keywords and sort of sorting that by sort of lenses of use, etc. So a typical keyword. So this is really a big work of sort of collecting that information in a structured and relevant way.
And for instance, in the reviews, you don't mention the source, the origin of the content?
No, I think that's mentioned. Let me. Yeah, so this review has happened on Amazon, etc. So yeah. Yes.
Just a simple question. Will it be available for Belgium?
Okay. Yes, but not now. So that was my trailer point. So this is not yet available. So I'm going to go back on the very first page. I just want to actually, this is a very good way to close this, because actually, if I'm sort of coming back to. This is what we have now, so the same image, but all the rest has disappeared, which is pretty frustrating. So what actually is happening is that the way we progress is really, we first want to sort of make sure that what we are proposing here are the right thing, that really is, and that it's helping us to gain market share and to make users more loyal. And we don't think that we can sort of spread resources everywhere to make that happen. So really clearly, we've started in the US. Actually, that was mid-June last year, so that's nearly 1 year ago. And then we're sort of expanding the model gradually, but of course with a sort of hit parade of countries. So UK has just gone out of beta at the end of 2009. And soon you'll get countries like France and Germany in Europe getting out of beta as well, which is again quite logical in terms of size of the market. Where does Belgium stand in the sort of roadmap? you can sort of torture me, it won't help because, I can't really tell you exactly a date, but it's definitely, at least 1 year after. I mean, I doubt it will come with the full-fledged thing in 2011. So it's going to be a little bit after that. But so an exact timing I can't give you. But at the same time, I think it's quite important to understand that we're already working quite a lot to improve the organic results and the basic search results. So if I'm sort of just making the query for the event of today, Search University, I suppose that the organizer have done a pretty good job at optimizing this. So you see that in terms of results, what we get here is, first a sponsor site, and then you get searchuniversity.com, a US site, I suppose, much more relevant even than this course, but then we get this Search University. If I'm doing the same query on Google, and I'm sort of going to the Belgium site as well, so doing Search University. Okay, you have another you have searchuniversity.com, and then it's coming as sort of number 5 in the result at Google. So I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I have another question about the sponsor links. To get some campaigns, we need to go through Yahoo
Yeah.
and Microsoft France to get. Is there any?
That's correct. So.
Is there any plan to roll out something for Belgium?
Absolutely. Oops. Okay, so I hope I'll sort of explain what we wanted to mean by these 3 pillars on which we'll be working. So you were asking, is it working? When does it come? First of all, I think that really the early results we've got from the US are very encouraging. So in the US, we've jumped from 72 million unique users when it was live search to 93 million users. We've increased market share by 3 points, 8 to 11.3. It's still too tiny, definitely, but it's sort of it grows. Awareness and perception is at a good level, and we've got really some very, very good review both from consumer analysts and and other. When you look at the quote from Danny Sullivan, I think, I've been fighting my Google habit and comparing Bing to Google. Sometimes Bing gets beat, but sometimes Google does too. So I think, it's just to say, as you have seen, there is still a lot of work, but there are sort of numerous scenarios in which I think, we can provide a better user experience. And certainly there is a way for differentiating ourselves and for complementary experience. So specifically about your question on what is possible for advertisers. So we've announced last July or August the Search Alliance with Yahoo, and it's been sort of agreed by the various in Europe and in the US back in Jan-February timeframe. So now what's going to happen? 3 things. First of all, that's sort of the Bing technology that will be used for organic results on both properties. Yahoo and Microsoft properties and Bing will get the Bing results actually. The second thing is in terms of monetization. That's going to be the Ad Center platform from Microsoft that's going to be used for sponsor links that will be displayed on both properties and domain. Now, in terms of servicing the customer, there will be sort of premium customer will keep being serviced by sort of Yahoo staff, and sort of more the self-serve or the long tail will be done by Microsoft, and really details to be refined as the transition occurs. Now, that transition is going to happen, first of all, US, so still this year, that's going to happen in the US, and over 2011 across the rest of the countries. Now, as you mentioned, I mean, for Belgium, it's sort of hardly relevant because you don't have Yahoo search marketing today. Yahoo market share is even smaller than ours in Belgium, so it's not really making a huge material impact. But in the session this afternoon, Gerald will explain, okay, what's possible for Ad Center today, and it's too little. Definitely, we would like to offer more, but go to Gerald's session. It really explain exactly all you can do, and still why this is good news, and how do we compare to Google AdWords. So I didn't want to steal the show from Gerald, so that's going to be the core presentation there. Nothing. What you can do today as well, as you have seen, organic results are the most important in Belgium at the moment. So do not hesitate to go to the webmaster pages. Submit your sitemap, look at the documentation to really make sure that you can be optimized in the way you appear in the Bing results locally. For your reference, I've listed a couple of URL you may find useful on the community blog of Bing to sort of keep abreast with everything that's sort of coming, and typically in the US that you may not see here. Visit the webmaster page, play with the demo, and for the Yahoo Search Alliance, the official site where everything is sort of announced, the press release and anything is on the searchalliance.com website, and you can have access indeed to Ad Center, but the French one via that URL. So that was it for the Bing presentation, and I hope you've enjoyed, that you will enjoy Bing in the future, and do not hesitate to sort of test it as your homepage in the coming days and weeks. Thanks for your attention.